Welcome to Titan Table Talk. That used to be our Titan Coaches Show, but we've had some athletes on also, so we are going with the name change of Titan Table Talk. Joining us is Coach Maya Smith, so I guess that makes you the first official guest on Titan Table Talk.
I'll take it.
There we go. I always like to start with the best when we do this, and Coach Maya Smith, women's basketball coach. Let's go back to a week ago. Opening CCIW, taking on Elmhurst here, and what a night. The ladies jumped out and played well all night, scoring 27 points in the first, 25 in the second, and 30 in the third, on the way to a total of 100 points, and the defense also stepping up big.
Yeah, I was very pleased with the way we came out. Sometimes you can look past teams. We did not look past Elmhurst, which I think is a credit to the coach that they have. I think Coach Warner's done a good job with that program. They're just struggling a little bit, I think, in terms of recruiting. But the girls did exactly what we asked of them to do, followed the game plan, and played with a lot of intensity and a lot of energy, and that was the key to the ball game.
Well, and you had 4 players in double figures, scoring spread out a little bit. Lauren Huber had 22, but you had Knutson with 14, Powers with 14, Palmer with 11. Mallory Powers, coming back from an injury, started out 3 for 3 from three-point land, just really like she didn't miss a day.
And you could not be happier for that girl, because having to sit was really hard on her. I don't think people, missing a game or two, but just having to sit was hard on Mallory. So watching her come out and light up the three-point ball like she did was super exciting for her, and a tribute to how hard she continues to work even when she was injured.
It's easy to understand a couple of these young ladies that, they played through high school. They were always the star on the team or one of the top players. But that goes for everybody who's on your team. They were all starters in high school. They're all used to not sitting and that. But as you get there and you get 15 of those, only 5 can play at a time, so 10 have to have time on bench. But that's got to be tough when you're coming in as a freshman, and right away you're right in the mix as Mallory was, and then this year having to sit out a couple of those games with that injury.
Yeah, definitely so. And I think our incoming freshmen are learning that this year already too. You can see that in some of their faces, in Sawyer White and Laura Malum and Sarah Bally. Those girls are all getting shots, getting opportunities, but it's not the same as being that number one head honcho.
Yeah, a lot of them are probably used to being the one with the ball in their hands also, and now they got to learn how to play without the basketball. What are some of the things you do to help the ladies change into that role?
They do a lot of individual workouts with my assistant coach, Brian Erisman, and he does a great job with them. So helping to define what they can do with the ball is one thing. And then also just for them, it's being able to play within our press and being able to play defense. So.
And that defense was huge against Elmhurst, as I said, 100 points. The number of turnovers that were created, 29 turnovers created in that game. You're always a defensive first coach.
I am. We took the press off in the middle of the second quarter, so that wasn't a factor in it. I just think that, they struggled early with taking care of the ball, and then we were super aggressive, which we needed to be.
Well, then going from a big high on Wednesday night, scoring 100 points, to a struggle in Waukesha, playing Carroll, only scoring 57 points, coming out very slow, 9 points in the first quarter, and Carroll winning that game basically from the beginning.
Exactly, and there is a ton of factors that led up to the way we played in that ball game, but the biggest factor is that we simply didn't come out and defend, and I don't think you're going to be any good team if you don't defend well. And we did not defend well. It was a week, Derek, where we had 2 JV ball games, and so we only had 1 full varsity practice. The rest were makeshift practices. The 3-hour drive up there, and it was definitely a little reminiscent of last year's game that we played up there. We just did not get off the bus ready to play, didn't show up, and got it handed to us.
Well, we talked a few moments before we started recording here that I've been up to Waukesha one time with you, and that was a poor shooting night also. Obviously, Carroll didn't struggle. They put up 33 points in the third quarter, and I think that's where you're talking about the defense just kind of letting down, giving Carroll those open opportunities.
Yeah, they shot 70-some% in the first quarter, which is just ridiculous to me. I mean, you've got to be able to defend some of that. They shouldn't be able to score at will. And, we just kind of opened up the lane and let them drive by us, and didn't help each other defend. And in that game, it's a game where you got to pull each other along, not drift apart. And I think we drifted apart, which is kind of disappointing to me. I'm still disappointed about it today. we had played so well the weekend before, and then to see that happen up there was really a disappointment.
Well, and I know you got practice coming up later, and you're working on some of the things from the Carroll game, and I don't want to get too upset, but you talked about 72% in the first quarter. How about they were 76% in the third quarter?
Third quarter, yeah.
So, pretty
and more
rough.
shots in the third quarter.
Yes, they had more shots. They had 17 shots as opposed to 11, so more opportunities for them also. Well, let's get off that and let's move forward. Let's look ahead because there's always another game coming up. You actually have Wednesday evening off. You will be Saturday. You'll be at home taking on North Central. I'm sure you're starting to get a little bit of thoughts about North Central. What are you looking at in that game?
Shooters. They've got some really great shooters. Not too much of a post game, but certainly some shooters. So we got to do a better job there.
So stepping out to be able to be on those shooters, closing down, taking away those shots, fighting through any screens that are there. And I'm not going to ask whether they're going over the top or ducking under because obviously that's a strategy and you want to prepare for that. But what are some other things that you do away from the ball for the ladies to make sure that that skip pass or those quick passes around the horn aren't open shots?
Yeah, so we'll work on some shell. We'll work on some 2v2 stuff. We'll work on throwing a high ball and then moving underneath it and making sure we're moving while the ball is in the air because sometimes you move after the fact. So we'll pick up on all those tendencies, and they do throw a lot of skips, so we've got to be able to cover from midline to the skipper.
And those are, and to me, those skip passes are always opportunities for a steal and a layup.
Yep, should be. Stealing two, that's right. Like a pick six.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. It makes me think of last year, Katie Eck always getting that ball and taking it down as she read those passes on those long ones. Or we go back, Maddie Merritt, I believe, she was very good at that on the press.
I think we're going to see some of that from Caitlin Knutson. I think she's got some Maddie Merritt in her.
So read kind of like the safety, reading the quarterback's eyes. Where's it going? Read the pass, jump the passing lane, and get going. Now, I'm going to miss Saturday's game. I think I kind of told you this. Eric Stock's going to be in there. We were kind of joking around that Eric's kind of the one to blame for Carroll because he was up there and in the game. And Eric, if you're listening, I apologize. But how are you going to overcome the curse of Eric? And I say that with tongue in cheek.
Absolutely, and I think it's hilarious. I wish I had an answer. Eric, if we drop this game against North Central, you are a done deal. It's over.
So we're gonna figure out a way to get me to those Wisconsin games and those other ones when I got to work in the morning and try and make those travels. We'll find a way.
We'll get North Central. I'm not worried.
Yeah. So and that game is at 5 o'clock. So it's a late afternoon, early evening, however you want to look at that. 5 o'clock start on Saturday. In the Shirk Center. Coach Smith will obviously be there with hopefully all the ladies raring and roaring to go and maybe a little remembrance of that Carroll game just to light the fire to get them going.
Yeah, Carroll's going to be a remembrance until the season is over. I'm going to make sure they remember that. But what's really unique about the North Central game is it's our alumni game. So we'll have an alumni game at 1 o'clock. We've got over 15 girls that want to come back and play. We'll have a really nice reception in the classroom after their game prior to the women's game. And then during the halftime of our game, there'll be some recognition at the half court. So we're really excited about that. Always such a great day to welcome back your alumni.
And I'm really going to miss that because I would love to see some of those ladies as they come back and see what they're doing today. Because some of them are across the country. I'm not sure who's all coming back. But I know a player from a couple of years ago is out in Colorado, some up in Chicago, down in Nashville. I think there's a nurse or two down there maybe, and that'd be a lot of fun to see that. But the date I'm really looking forward to down the road is going to be February 4th. That's the Carroll game.
Okay.
I want to see. You said you're going to remember that. I know they're going to remember it that day. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm also looking forward to December 17th, which will next time I see your team in action against Wheaton. But we'll talk about that next week. Again, North Central on Saturday, 5 o'clock at the Shirk Center. Come out, cheer on the Titans. Give them a crowd like they had against Elmhurst because that was a lot of fun to have a crowd like that. And while I'm bringing it up, student body. How much of an advantage is that to have a student body there with that much energy?
Oh, it's the sixth man. We've always claimed that our pep band is our sixth man, and they are, and always will be. But the student body was outstanding. Coach Martell brought his administrative class in, and it was just a lot of fun. I think they gave out 15 pizzas, some T-shirts, and some free popcorn and stuff like that. So, and really some great announcing by one of our local students.
Yeah, and they had the energy flowing even during timeouts. A lot of times during timeouts, the energy just kind of dies, but they just kept it going right through and picked it right back up when the ball was put back in play. So, Coach Martell, if you're listening, you want to do something with that class, find a way to get that student body out there, students making out there. It is a lot of fun, and we're going to call him the seventh man because the band's the sixth man.
Band will always be the sixth man.
7 against 5, you should win.
There we go.
We are talking with Coach Smith on Titan Table Talk.